Hi guys. Good morning. How are you? Good afternoon. And today I'm so happy to see everyone here surrounded around this demo area and waiting for Subhashini to start. And so today she has come up with something very, very beautiful. Um, she will be teaching you a plaque, this picture to be done on the fondant plaque. So this is not just about this particular piece. It is going to be a lot of technique that she will be teaching also, and you can use that technique in various other things that you would be doing later, various other pictures you can do later. And she will be using edible color, and she will be using Evaporex. Evaporex, you all know, is a halal certified substitute for vodka, and for coloring all kinds of fondant and all kinds of chocolates and all edibles that you use vodka to color with. You don't need it now. This is non-alcoholic and this is halal certified, so you can always use this. And how to use it is what she's going to give a demo on, because we get a lot of questions. How to use it, how to mix, how much is the proportion. So I feel that these guys are the best people to tell us how well it has to how it works. Because when we take out such products, we also consult them. We give it away to these artists and we ask them for a feedback, and then we do our improvements according to how, because they are the ones who use it and they should be the ones telling us how to, what consistencies they need it. Okay. So now handing over this space to Subhashini. Enjoy your demo, and Subhashini, we are so grateful for coming in for us, and really it's an honor. It's our privilege that we have the Subhashini Singh, Ram Singh over here with us and doing a demo for Fab. Really, it's an honor. Thank you. And one nice picture with
This side, please.
So I in fact left off what I made for the picture, but anyway when I finish it you will be able to see how it looks. So this was the same picture which I used for the the one that I took the picture, sent it out to the poster. So ideally when you have a image, when you want to do a painting, I would suggest beginners not to do freehand painting, but to pick up inspirations from the internet and use images that are not copyrighted. So you have to check whether you're copying from another artist, if you need to take an approval or something. So you have to pick up images which are not copyrighted, and you have to know what size this is going to fit on your cake. So you have to resize the image and get it to the top of the cake, or if it is on the side of the cake you have to resize it to whatever size you want. Right, but I just covered this up in the morning hoping that it is not set as much. So you can use a Dresden tool, and I just want to go around on the outline. You could use a Dresden tool as I said, but now I also want to know where the eyes are placed. So I will go in and make a marking on the outline, the beak. So if I just do only the outline, that may not suffice. I will not know where the eyes are. So it's not a good idea unless you are a really you're really good at freehand drawing. It's not a good idea to freehand paint directly on the cake. So this will give a overall shape. So these little bits of the leaves and all, I can look in the image and I can see where it is. Let's say if you are doing another intricate one, like maybe of a face, or maybe a tiger's face is there, then you might have to really make a note of where the nose, the eyes, the eyeballs, all that should be transferred. So I don't want to completely remove it. I just want to hold one end and see if the impression is there. And if I'm happy with how much the impression is seen there, then I will remove the whole sheet. Say if I'm just not able to figure out this part of the eye, I put it back and then I will just go over on top of it to just be sure. Because if I've removed, then it is not really very easy to put it back exactly where the image was, to make one more round of the outline. So here the body ends here, but the outline was put only to the bottom. So I would may prefer to put the outline of this also, which I have not done there. Now I will just go around and mark the bottom of the body as well. So this should do for now. If I have to just cross check, I will just go around and then consider the branches. And if certain parts are not very clear, now is the time that I will do. Okay, so this looks fine. So you could use a pencil to do as well. That much of using pencil on the edible cake itself is not going to be a issue. Yeah. So this is one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is put this, that I'm just going to say. If you could understand, if you have doubts, you could ask me. Put this paper on top of a thermocol sheet and then use a pin to go around and poke holes, and take that and place it on. The hole should be good enough, and after the holes are poked around all over the outline, you place it on top of the fondant cake and you airbrush exactly on the holes. And once that is done, you remove it off. The holes will have the airbrushed color. And sometimes if the airbrush or the paper, the surface of the fondant is not very flat, and if there's gap between the sheet of the paper and the fondant, it oozes out and it smudges. So you have to be very sure of the technique. Practicing it few times will get it. Or otherwise, if this one is not too comfortable for you, you could put it on top of this and you top of the fondant itself and use a pin to go around poking on top of it. Poke through the paper and go and no. You can go in and poke through using a pin. So now I have, so when you have to paint, you can use gel colors that there are quite a few brands available now. It's easy. There is another way also I prefer doing the painting. I use petal dusts. So sometimes what happens, you don't have all the colors in the gel, and sometimes there are some lighter shades in the petal dusts as well. So you could use petal dust, mix it up with Evaporex and use it for painting as well. Like as much you think petal dust are dry powders used for dusting only the sugar flowers and dry, you can make it wet and then start using it for the painting as well. just start up with a little bit of blue. I mean, it's not a great idea to pour so much. You have to be sure that you're not wasting up, and too much poured out and left for a long time will also evaporate that product. So I usually don't mix up that whole thing, and if I want it concentrated, then so much of it just gets wasted. I just touch my brush onto the thinner or evaporex and use up a little bit on the side of the color. If you have a tester, you could test. So there are multiple colors, shades of blue itself there. I'm starting with the lightermost shade. So as I'm painting, see, if I'm seeing the brush strokes and the color just doesn't blend, I could go touch the color back, or if I don't want it more concentrated shade, I just want to touch up on the evaporex alone and then keep moving. Fondant should be dried completely, yes. So I haven't marked this part. This one. Oh, this one is not marked. So if you've wrongly painted up somewhere, you can use clear evaporex to brush it up and you can rub it off. Another easy way to do is to use wet wipes, which doesn't have the essence. The flavor or the smell doesn't come out of it. The baby ones, which is so this anyway looks like a water painting effect, so I am just not doing it very neatly. I'll show one part where you really don't need so much of textures in painting itself. So that's some water. I want to wash it up. You really don't have to use evaporex to brush out. If you really want to lighten it up, you touch only the evaporex on top. But I'm not going to leave it like this. I'm going to continue the same watercolor effect because that's how it is there. So to do that, instead of cleaning up and giving a clean stroke, I'm just going to use my brush and go around and give it that messy look because that's what it's there on the image as well. So you see the white is in fact coagulating. I just wanted to show it just doesn't mix up. I'm gonna go back to using blue. And the ideal brush you have to buy for painting is a normal paintbrush, like how the kids get. The one thing that you have to be careful is, do not buy something that is written as pony hair. Pony hair is something that doesn't give you good strokes. So the brush that you look for is the regular, to start with, to begin with. You don't have to really invest on the artist brushes and all that. A simple brush would do. Set of all the rounds and set of all the flat brushes. And something that you want to avoid is pony hair. So now if I have to use a petal dust, so just take out the dry powder out. So just use the Evaprex and use just, that's how I do. I use just half of it, test it out, and then I don't mix up the whole thing as I said. Now I just go and start painting my green. So this acts exactly like any other color, just that if you have a different shade in this, in a petal dust, you have the right pink or the green, and you don't have it in the gel color, you really don't have to go buy another gel or a airbrush color. You can just use the different shades that you have in the petal dust if in case you are looking at painting. Now after painting, after this whole thing has dried, if you want to give a touch of gold, or sometimes you can dry dust on top of this. It could look a little, if the shading is not nice, it could look a little kiddish. So to add extra shading, you can dry dust using the petal dust itself, the dry petal dust, over the painted base that you've already made. I'm just spreading out the colors of the flowers around the branches. So I just don't want to leave the leaf in a single shade, so I'm just going to go around and use the darker green. So that's the darker green. I don't want it too watery, so I'm just trying to remove off as much moisture, but just letting my brush to do some line of strokes. So maybe in the center and just on the top alone. So you see the difference between this, because it's having extra moisture. A thin line like that wouldn't come on this. Just wanted to show how you dry dust over something that's already dried up. And some browns I want, because I don't want the leaf to look this bright here, so I'm just trying to just cut down, subtle down the green, so there's some browns added. So I have to give a little more time for that extra green, the one that I painted right before. I should give some time for it to dry. So I just don't want that brown to overpower. So when I look, the browns were too bright. So I'm just trying to cut down the strength of the brown. So I want the bird to look catching the eye when you're looking at an image. So what you can understand out of this is, when there's a brighter shade that you've already made, you want to cut that down, then you can use white to go on top of it, and it just goes one shade down, one or two shades down that you want to do. Let's stop with this. I also have some airbrushing thing to show you guys. So on the one that you saw, there were colors inside as well. I just went ahead and used a big flat brush possible, used whatever leftover colors that I had to just not keep it white. So I'll just keep this aside. I want to get the next plate to do the airbrushing. I could spend a little more time trying to fine tune that, but instead of that, we could just maybe move on to the next one. So I was just using preparing the color that I have to pour inside. You can have airbrush colors that are available in the market. When you're using the airbrush colors, you pour them directly into this and the color comes out. Or if you don't have airbrush colors, the other economical way of using it is, when you have Evaporex, you can use your gel colors, mix it up in a bowl, a few drops of the gel colors and the Evaporex, mix it up, and you can pour it into this. So I have a concentrated blue color into this. I want to start my airbrushing. little lighter shade. So after pouring a little bit, I've used more of Evaporex into this to lighten up the shade that I want. So whenever you're using airbrushing, you're going to airbrush, you need to have a tissue to test the color that you want to. So once you know the color is coming out and that's the color you want to use, then you can start using up. So when I don't pull the trigger, the color doesn't come out. When the trigger gets pulled back, then the color starts coming out. So if you are a new timer, you haven't used airbrush at all, then I could just tell you how do you really attach it. Then let's just begin with so what I have here are some templates to use. So these are some hand cut templates that I made using an OHP sheet. An OHP sheet really looks like this, normal A4 sized presentation sheets they are. So I just freehand cut out. So I just have templates for clouds here. Okay, and these are for the mountain. So I'm just trying to show. So you could airbrush that whole cake gold and all that. That really need no skill. Basically, you have to just airbrush it depending on how strong you want. You can airbrush it, 2-3 coats and get to the darker gold you want, or pearl or silver or whatever you would want to do. So I'm just trying to show a few things that you can do to the next step of airbrushing, what you can really do to the next step. So these are the templates. Let me just start using them. So now I'm just trying to cut a template for a mountain. When I'm freehand cutting, I start with a strip like this. So I just have a strip first to begin with, and then I could freehand. I had my marker to go around an outline, and I cut it through. So what happens when I'm going to use this? I want the entire sky to be blue. So if I use this and paint my black or brown for whatever color you want on the mountain, when you're using a template, this on top of this is where I have to airbrush the color of my mountain. But then exactly on the places above the mountain, I want it to be the sky's color itself. So I'll place it exactly where I want my mountain. So you'll have the positive and the negative. When you cut out, you will have the other end also. So you don't throw away this, because this is where you have to airbrush for your mountain. So you ideally we tend to keep this, and you think you don't need this. You in fact need this also, so that you keep it there. And this you will go back to coloring for the mountain, and now you want the sky to have the exact outline of the mountain as well. So in fact I need some more blue. So I want a lighter shade of this, so I'm going to pour some more Evaporex directly into this to lighten it up. So when you're airbrushing, you want a lighter shade. Adding white gel is not the right idea. White gel will have specks of the color that will go and clog the gun. So if you want a lighter shade of anything, you dilute it. You dilute it with more of Evaporex. Pour just a little bit of it, and a lot of Oatka to Evaporex to start with. So when you're pouring out the Evaporex directly into this, you want to know if it is mixed up well. So you cover up the gun and pull back the trigger. It mixes up the color inside. it bubbles up and you can mix up the color inside. I want to test the color, that's what I want. So that's a fairly gray color that I'm having, which I want to go ahead. So I'm going to position the template back on where exactly I want the mountain to be. And I don't want that to go beyond the level of the horizon maybe. So I also want a cleaner. So something like this. I don't want it to go beyond this. So I'm just trying to create a place where the color can go, even if I'm going to airbrush it a little up or down. So I'm going to go a little near. If there's too much um, evaporex, it's going to splatter. So I don't want to always keep in one place and not move my hands. If you notice, my hands are always moving left to right or on a circular motion. So if I'm not doing that, the color will splatter out and have a very concentrated color coming out to just one place. It'll be like blotched out. So I don't want to do that. So I always want to keep moving. Just want this to dry. Yeah. There's a little bit of color that's come on top also. So when I'm making this template, a template that covers the entire thing would be ideal. So then I thought a little bit of a sun. But here I have to be a little more careful. I do an orange. So let it dry for some time. I'm going to remove it a little later. So let me do the water one first. And now, as I said, I don't want the green to go over the mountain part. So obviously I want to have it covered. So now I am creating a place where I will the color goes only to that part. So you go back to blue. So let me just try remove this one, can still remain. So I'm just covering up the blue because I don't want green to go on top of the blue. So when you are using the airbrush machine, the Art Master one, the gun is not as efficient as the Spectrum. So ideally, when I was, in fact, those days when I was using that, if I am mixing up the gel and the thinner, like here it's evaporex, when I thinner, then I have to sieve it on the tea strainer, the one that comes with plastic and there's a cloth. It's not the the metal one, not the metal mesh. they have like really huge holes. Not that. It's a cloth based tea strainer. Whenever you mix it up, you have to every time sieve it through the tea strainer and then use it on the airbrush, even when you're using Evaprix. Otherwise, there are specks of the gel that clogs this, and the color doesn't come out, and it gets a little, time for you to really figure out what went wrong. So you have to give some time for each layer to dry before you're placing even the template on top. That's why it's just giving the textures, which is not the good thing. So you can brush on top of the airbrushed surface, but you have to give it enough time for it to dry completely. So this will be the base for you to start working with. This one is blue. So on so you have created a background, you let this whole thing dry, and then you can do the another level of intricate painting, like maybe you can have some grass and then some plants and then some flowers on it. You can do a brush and then do some birds. More on that will be painted. So you create a base background in whatever color that you want. It could be all plain, so this is just an idea to play around with making your own templates. And on top of it, you could just leave it as it is, or you can do the same painting after this whole thing is dried out. Okay, so I enjoyed today working with Evaprix and coming up with this painting, a simple one for the beginners. And I've started using Evaprix, though as much as I was using only Otka years back. And thanks to Fab and Hema for coming up with this amazing product, Evaprix. And it's just there's no more alcohol substitute that we have to look forward to. And thanks Fab, and all the flavors that keep coming up in the market, and the way Hema promotes it, uh, giving a lot of visibility to the bakers and home bakers. And you have to see her stall being covered up with home bakers flocking around here. It's all because of Hema. And all the best to Fab Flavors and for its growth more and more in the coming years. Thank you.